Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Teofimo Lopez is returning on August 13th as he faces Pedro Campa in a low-threat match, but interestingly, the weight will be at 140, so he'll be making his debut at 140, which is good for him because obviously he couldn't continue at 135 no more. Kind of like what Devin Haney is currently going through, but Teofimo had a lot of medical struggles. I think it was all tied to him trying to lose weight that he just couldn't continue to sacrifice. His body let him know, okay, it's over. It's time to move up. And that 5 pounds may not sound like a lot, but it makes a big difference when it comes to these guys having to cut weight. 5 pounds is a lot. But anyway, his opponent, Pedro Campa, is 33 wins, 1 knockout, 33 of those wins, 22 by KO. But again, he should be nothing but a springboard for Teofimo to go on to the bigger fights at 140. Pedro Campa, when you look at the opponents he's faced and where he's fought them at, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. His last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. Like his last 17, 18 opponents were all in Mexico. And you aren't going to know any of these names. So he's had some TKOs, majority decisions, split decisions, unanimous decisions. So he has some wins, but it just aren't against high caliber opponents. But the fact that out of his 33 wins, he has 22 KOs, I mean, you got to give him some credit for having something special about his hands. But at the same time, he hasn't fought the type of opposition that Teofimo has. And I think this is just an opponent for Teofimo to cut his teeth on at 140 pounds. So not much else on this guy Campa. When it comes to Teofimo, I think everybody's interested in seeing him return to the ring. I know I am. But I'm still concerned about his bizarre rants about how he was robbed, about how he won the fight. Eddie Hearn and DAZN screwed him. You know, he went from bad talking Top Rank to bad talking Triller to now bad talking Eddie Hearn and DAZN. And when you listen to his concerns, right, none of them are like legit, man. Like none of them can really be substantiated. It's just him getting emotional. There's no teeth to anything that he was saying. He just let those belts go to his head. And don't get me wrong, that win against Lomachenko was a huge win, but he just couldn't handle the fact that he got clipped in New York. And I don't know where he's from, Florida or New York, but you say in his own backyard. And he got embarrassed. He got humiliated. And there were a lot of people there rooting for him. He just couldn't pull it off. But now he's going at 140, and he's saying nobody at 140 wanted to fight him. None of the big dogs wanted to fight him. Everybody's afraid to fight him. So he's continuing with this bizarre narrative that everyone's afraid to get in the ring with him. But in my opinion, he probably has the biggest target on his back because they know that he can get emotional and he can make a lot of mistakes in the fight. So there are several guys at 140 who are, top contenders who are trying to get the fight with him. And they actually went at him on Twitter, kind of raking him across the coals, saying, no, he's a liar. Don't believe what he's saying. If we wanted to fight, they turned it down. But surprisingly enough, we know with these boxers, a lot of times they'll throw names out there just to boost their profile to kind of stir the pot. And there were 2 names that Teofimo threw out there that got my attention. But one of them, I think, is a fight that can really be made. And Teofimo was talking about Josh Taylor, saying Josh Taylor was scared to face him, which we all know is crap. But then he threw out Regis Prograis. Now, Regis Prograis is a problem, okay? People don't want to fight Regis Prograis. And that's just a fact. Regis Prograis can really box. He hits hard. He's a special fighter. And he just can't get the big fights that he needs. He just can't. I'm not sure if it's his fault, his promoter's fault. I'm not sure what the issue is, but he's an amazing fighter. We know he's been calling out Broner. He calls out a lot of people, man, to fight at 140. He may even go up to 147. But Regis Prograis can pull off an upset at any time. And when I say an upset, it's not saying that he'd be the underdog in the fight. What I mean is he can get there with anybody and any day and clip him. Regis Prograis is special. 27 wins. 27 of those wins are 23 by KO. And he only has one loss, which is to Josh Taylor, which was a majority decision, and Josh Taylor is our favorite. But Regis Prograis, man, 82% KO percentage. This guy's about 5'8", so he's got a little bit of height on him. You know, I'm 6 feet. But 5'8", when you're fighting 140, you know, that means that he can afford to go up in weight. He got the right frame. But you look at his last fight, he fought out there in Dubai, Tyrone McKenna. Really don't know much about him, but he was 22 wins, 2 losses at the time. And he was able to get the TKO on him. Then he had the fight before that was Ivan Redkach, which was a joke. If you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it. What a joke. You would swear to God, someone killed Redkach in that fight. He was acting like it was a low blow. It was not a low blow. The camera showed it was a good acting on Redkach's part. But, you know, the guys who make the decisions reviewed the footage and upgraded that, I think it was a no contest. They went ahead and made it a TKO win for Regis Prograis, which they should have. And before that, he had Juan Heraldez, which is here in San Antonio. He clipped him within 3 rounds, and Josh Taylor, Terry Flanagan, and, you know, Ndogo, Joel Diaz Jr. So he had a couple other fights there with some names that we'd be familiar with. He fought Abel Ramos back in the day, and clipped him. So, you know, Regis Prograis has fought some of the big names and some of the top prospects, top contenders in the division. But for him and Teofimo to fight, I think that would be a good match. But I don't think Teofimo would win. Teofimo has the skill set, he has the power, he has the IQ. Just not sure he's ready for a killer like Prograis. Not sure he's ready for a master boxer with power like Josh Taylor. For me, Teofimo needs to get in there, man, kind of figure some things out and see how he's feeling. But what I'm most concerned about is just his dad in his corner. I love the father-son relationship, man. It touches my heart. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm not saying he should move on from his dad. I would never, ever say that. But maybe it's time to, you know, get someone else in there who it can bring onto the team, who can have a voice. And when the father is weak in an area, this guy could come and fill that gap and form a complementary relationship with the father and strengthen that team. Because if he would have had that voice in his corner when he was fighting this guy, Kambosos, Teofimo would have won that fight. But he just didn't have the right voice in that corner. So we're going to see how he's going to look in this fight. But, I mean, a lot of people are more concerned not about him winning, because he should win this fight with no problem. But they're more concerned just about his abilities and where he is mentally, and if he's able to maintain his composure and to not raise any additional red flags going into this fight and also after the fight. But him calling out Regis Prograis, we'll see what happens. But August, you figure September, October, November, December, Teofimo, not sure how Top Rank is working things. He could, if he doesn't take any damage and he gets that guy out in the first round, he could be back by the end of the year, and hopefully with an even bigger name. He only needs about 12 weeks to really get in shape. And if he takes no damage, he clips this guy within the first couple of rounds. It's just a couple weeks off and back in the gym. And but you don't want to, you know, overwork, overtrain, and then your legs are gone on fight night. So they'll be smart about it. But I hope he gets through this with flying colors, and then he comes back for a big fight against like a Regis Prograis. See, this is the thing. When you have someone who is a champion or undisputed or unified champion at a lower weight class, and they come up one weight class, they should be wanting to go at all the champions. Like, there's no need to come out there and cut your teeth and fight 4, 5, or 6 top contenders. No, man. You are a champion, a top dog in a lower weight class, one weight class below. Come up and go for the killers immediately. Not sure he can handle Prograis, but there's some guys there he can get in the ring and get busy with. You know, it's the same thing like with Munguia, right? Munguia, he's about to fight. But he came in there, he clipped Saddam Ali. It doesn't matter, Saddam, really a welterweight, doesn't matter. They fought at 154, he clipped him, got the belt. moved up to 160. It really didn't do anything. He's just been fighting kind of, contenders, guys who are good fighters, but not really the best. He hasn't gone out there and banged with the champions yet. Is it because he's not ready, or is it because his promoter is just trying to kind of milk the system, make as much money as possible? But to me, if a fighter, someone who was a champion in a lower weight division, moves up one weight division, they should be screaming, "I want to fight the champions." And that's not what you're seeing with Munguia and with Lopez. He should be screaming that too, and not just throwing stuff out there to stir the pot. Like really, want those fights and should be pushing for that, clamoring for that, not sitting back fighting the campus or whoever's going to be his next opponent. But I'm hoping we see him actually try to get in there with the Prograis or whoever he can get a title fight with. We know Josh got stripped. I think it was a WBA belt. They did him dirty. But, going forward, Josh still has a lot of belts. We're going to see what happens with him and keeping belts, relinquishing belts. But I think it's a good opportunity for Teo, because I think Josh at some point is going to let a lot of that stuff go, because it's a lot of money to pay to hold on to those belts. And then we'll see Teo maybe pick up a belt at 140. But he gets in there with this guy, Regis Prograis, he's going to have a tough fight. I still think Teofimo can bang. I think he's a great fighter. I just think he's going to be in tough with Regis Prograis and Josh Taylor if he gets those fights. Maybe he needs to take 2 or 3 fights at 140, really make a name for himself, clip some really good guys, and then he's back in position. But he's in position now just because of what he did. But coming off of that Cambosos loss in the Bazaar and kind of, just weird red flag type comments he was making, it just makes a person almost want to distance themselves from him and not even get involved. But I still have a lot of confidence that he can do great things. But he needs to tighten up his team, tighten up himself, and just, just come to grips. I didn't perform to my potential on that night. Doesn't make you a failure. Just means you didn't perform to your potential. And that happens to a lot of people. And I think once he accepts that, he can breathe and blow it out. I think his mind will come around, and we'll see that Teofimo Lopez that fought that first 6 and 7 rounds against Lomachenko. That guy looks special. And I would like to see him get back to that. But right now, we can just poke fun at him and just talk all day about his buffoonery, because that's what it is. But that's the latest and greatest on Teofimo. Getting busy on August 13th against Pedro Campa. Has a really attractive record, but he's fought nobodies for the most part. He's going to basically be a springboard to the 40-pound division for Teo. And after that, maybe Regis Prograis. I doubt Josh Taylor, but Regis Prograis may be the fight to be made. And I hope they do, because that would be a good fight to see end of this year. Regis fought in March. Teofimo fought late last year. He's been out the ring for a while. He needs to get that ring rust off. If he looks good and it's business as usual, end of this year, make the fight with Regis Prograis, man. That would be outstanding. Anyway, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Appreciate your support. Shout out to all the veterans. And as always, I'm in the breeze.